Hello and welcome to my channel. So I've got my skirt piece here. I like to measure how big my skirt is going to be. So I would just come on with my ruler and say, oh, my skirt is going to be 17 inches by whatever it is this way. And then I will measure that off, and I'm going to just do that with my ruler. I'm not going to cut it with the paper, but the paper is there for you if you want to use it. So I'm going to be working on a 4-year-old size, so which is the blue, and I've taken my greaseproof paper and I've drawn all over that the interface, and I'm going to cut with just my ruler and my blade again, but you can cut your pattern out like that if you want to. So what you should have is a front bodice and a back bodice piece, a placket piece, and you should have an arm piece, and then you'll have your skirt piece, which you can either use that or you can just cut it straight, and you will have your piece for cutting your interfacing. So I've just gone ahead and I've cut out my skirt, and all I did basically was lay the ruler onto it. And if you've got a ruler like this, or even just a ruler like that or that, you can use any one of those with your rotary cutter if you've got a rotary cutter. If not, what you can do is just use an ordinary ruler and measure it up, and then mark it along with the pencil, and then come over with your scissors and cut it out. So I have my lining fabric. Just going to get that in so you can see all of it. There we go. Okay, so I have my lining fabric. This is just a sheet, so I'm going to just do this with this one. Just going to pin this on, and we're going to do exactly the same. I was going to do this with this one, and we're going to do exactly the same with our shell fabric, which is the one which it will be our yellow. So I'm just going to do this as my lining fabric, and we're going to do a yellow one as well. It takes a long time preparing the fabric, washing it, ironing it, drying it, ironing it. That all takes a while, so you know, get all this done beforehand, and then you can come in and you know that you're going to be nice, and you don't want to be doing anything when you're too tired. You know, you can do this preparation all beforehand and get it out of the way. So I'm just coming around my scissors. Try not to cut into the pattern if you can help it. That's better. I'm going to cut all of this out, and then I'm going to do exactly the same on the yellow. Might be better to come back and do that in a minute once you've got that bit out of the way. Just get in around that corner there. That's it. There we go. It's not very good at the top, is it? As I say, my hands don't work well. I'm sure you'll get it better than me. This is one of the most important parts, ironing it and getting it cut out correctly to the pattern. So I'm just going to come in now and pin and cut in around my pieces. Here, make sure that you've got it's touching onto that centre line for your bodice. Pin that to my finger. Pop it in there and get that all nice and pinned in. You can put as many pins in as you like. Now my placket, so I'm going to put that to the straight edge, but I'm going to leave myself a tiny bit at the top. Now you don't have to do this. If you want to just use the placket exactly as is, that's absolutely fine. You can just cut this with your rotary blade if you've got a rotary blade. If not, you can just do this the same as me and do it like that. And I like to give myself about 1/2 inch more than what the placket actually shows you on the pattern. And then I'm going to come around and cut that out. And then this one, just make sure when you're doing it that you've got that that both pieces of fabric align. You have got both pieces fabric edge, it's not got one sticking underneath. It's nothing more annoying when you've cut it out and then you suddenly find that you've got another one. You've got to go back and cut it out again. I don't actually need this on the fold. I thought it was just that was a piece of fabric which I had there, and I thought, oh, that's just the right size. So you would probably have a great big piece of fabric. I'm going to come in and just cut everything out. It's best if you can cut it out on the board. You'll get a better cut. There we go. There we go. Just coming around. Move it around if you need to get it exactly as you want it. You can also come back and you see, look, I've just made a bit of a mistake there. That's probably my hands again. Just come back in and trim anything which doesn't look right. You can cut this with a rotary cutter as well if you need to. And then I'm going to cut out my placket. So I'm going to leave it like that, and I'm just going to come down along the edge. As I say, you probably would be neater if you just did it with your ruler and your thing, but it doesn't matter too much. It doesn't have to be that neat for the placket. And I'm just going to leave myself a little bit there as well. Okay, so I just started. I just went around with my ruler and cut that out with my blade. So I just went literally along there. That was already a straight edge, so I went along there. And I just went along there, and I'm just going to cut this top piece out of the arms, and I've got two pieces of fabric laying together. So I'm just going to come around here and cut that out. Probably be better if I actually did it that way around. It's nice if you can get those scissors in so they're touching the very edge of the fabric there, the pattern there, and you can then get a nice cut on that. Keep it as nice and flat as you can on there. And there's your arms. But with the only thing with the arms now, you need to mark where the gathering line is going to be. So I've got my little sew line pencil. I'm just going to mark on there where the gather needs to be on both arms. So there, we're going to gather it in between this point. So we'll gather from here round to there, and we'll do exactly the same on the other side. There we go. So that's the whole of the dress apart from our ruffles cut out. So I've just laid out my piece of my fabric for the apron, and we are going to now cut it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in from here and I'm going to cut it on that side, and then we're going to just come up and we're going to cut that there as well. Get that nice and straight. There we go, line it all up nicely. So we're going to cut that one right down there like that. So this will be the front of your apron skirt. For the back of your apron skirt now, we need two pieces for the back. Cut out another big piece like this, just like that, and then cut right down here like that. So let's get to cutting the rest of the apron now. So this is going to be the bib, and this isn't cut out of the main fabric if you decide that you want to do the embroidery. The embroidery I'm going to do on a separate video. Don't cut the white fabric at all, just put this to one side and wait for the embroidery video, because that is going to be done in something different. If you decide that you just want to have it out of the shell fabric with the bears and that on it, then go ahead and cut out two pieces out of that. Put that to one side. Okay, so the other pieces that you should have, which goes with the apron, is this one long piece here, which will be the front of your apron. So this will be the bit which goes across the child's tummy like that, and that will join onto this piece, which is the tie, the ribbons at the back, and that will join on there like that, and it will also join on like that. Okay, so you probably can't see the whole of this. I'm just going to wiggle you around a bit so you can sort of see a bit more. Here's the end of it, and here down this end, I can see if I can come in and pin it all the way along onto it. It's a great big long piece, as I say, so I'm going to pin it onto it and wiggle it around until I've got it exactly as I want it. I'm going to come in and pin it all now. Okay, so I've got that all pinned on, and I'm just going to come round with my scissors now and carefully cut around the outside. And I'm not sure you're going to be able to see these bits on the side where I'm cutting it, but I think you'll probably be able to see these bits, will you? Obviously it's a great big piece, but I'm just coming in and I'm taking my time. So I'm going to cut the other one out. Okay, so that's my 2 pieces of tie done. So we need to cut pieces for our ruffles. So I'm going to cut this at 4.5. Put that on. So that's 1 piece. So I'm now going to go and cut as many pieces of those until I get the size that I want. So I'm just going to cut my straps now. My straps are 2 inches. I'm just going to come along and I'm going to cut them here at 2 inches on the mat. I'm going to cut 4 pieces, and that should be plenty. 1. For the dress ruffle, cut out 4-inch strips as indicated on the free pattern guide. You can find the free cutting instructions underneath this video. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe and hit that bell. Thank you, goodbye.